by generals commanding the armies. No such thing could have happened under the Hindenburg-Ludendorff regime when they took charge of these things. So he proposes, he says, if the Allies are erecting monuments to obscure persons whose actions influenced the great struggle, I would nominate for the Hall of Fame this unknown Lieutenant Colonel Hensch, who did as much to lose the first Battle of the Marne for Germany as any other single man. Von Moltke, finding that things were not going well on the right wing, which he had failed to reinforce, sent Hensch to straighten things out. Hensch found a gap that had opened between the Second and First Armies, and in agreement with the commanding general, authorized the Second Army to retreat. He then proceeded to the First Army on the extreme right and ordered it to fall back. And he was obeyed, although the First Army was actually engaged in a successful battle at that moment. It is useless to theorize about such stupidity. The god of battles was not on the side of the Allies. And then Hensch goes down the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 armies. The German army commanders obeyed these orders like sheep, although the orders were impromptu, verbal, and generally given only to a general staff officer of the army and not to the general himself. You get it. So that's the Battle of the Marne. Now, what was the problem? The thing is, you're going to see that when you get a successful envelopment of an enemy strongpoint, a capital or important city, you're going to find that the military unit that's out on the far flank is going to be in trouble. This goes for Sheridan at Five Forks during the last days of Richmond, when he gets out there and Pickett tries to outflank him. But I'd like, because of the anniversary, Atlanta, and that is the Battle of Atlanta. It's 100 years ago, 150 years ago, that Sherman undertook this sweeping flanking envelopment that took him down to Jonesboro, I believe, south of Atlanta, cut the railroad, and the capture of Atlanta on September 1st, September 2nd, the burning of Atlanta September 2nd, Gone with the Wind, and all that. But here's the idea. Sherman, this is now on the 21st, 22nd of July. Sherman flung his coils close around the city. Hood watched for a chance to strike, Confederate commander, and saw it in the position of McPherson's line, which ended in the air at a bald hill. This is von Kluck. On the night of the 21st, he sent Hardee's corps by a circuit out of the entrenchments to attack the rear of McPherson's position between the Bald Hill and Decatur, breaking the Union line. The rebels ranked in the dark with a rushing attack. They got into the rear of Blair's 17th Corps, which had it entrenched facing the city. Now, this is the part. By all the rules, Blair was lost. But these were Grant's own veterans of the West and panic-proof. They jumped over the parapets of their trenches and fought from the other side with a constancy wonderful to behold. And then it goes on. Hood had brought Cheatham down from the fortifications and flung his corps straight against the hard-pressed 17th Corps, Blair, on its old front, which had become its rear to face Hardee, against Schofield also, and against Logan's 15th Corps on the other end. Blair's men had to leap back over their barricades to face Cheatham. They held like rocks, but it was touch and go when Cheatham got through, and Sherman comes in. Sherman in person saved the day, that fidgeting, eccentric man who became cool as a cucumber when the guns began to shoot. So he organizes a counterattack. Cheatham broke, Hardee broke. The Confederates went tumbling back with 8,000 lost, and that was the Battle of Atlanta. So take a look at a map. You can find this in Fletcher Pratt, Morning Star chapter, The Fall of Atlanta. Imagine Blair his front is to the west, then it's to the east, and then it's to the west again. And that's really what von Kluck did. So the difference is that Sherman is a great general and Moltke is a failure. They should have studied what those armed mobs were doing in North America. Some of them did, but not Moltke. And we'll see you again next week. Happy Labor Day. Let's have labor. Remember, if you have an 8-hour day, you can thank the labor unions and labor struggle. See you next week.